Hi everyone, I'm Rose Hardy and I'm here today talking to Stoney Ponders at Ponders Funeral Home. Stoney, we're so happy to bring our cameras out here and show everybody this lovely facility that you have here in Dalton.
Thank you.
We are at the Dalton facility, and tell us a little bit about how long you've been serving this community.
Rosa, I went to work in the funeral service in 1982. Ponders Funeral Home has been in business since 1992. So all told, about 32 years.
Wow. And, you know, most people should know where you're located, but tell us kind of where you're located.
We're very easy to find. We're located at the intersection of the North and South Bypass at Wallen Avenue and Chatsworth Highway. So we're very convenient to anyone in Whitfield County or Murray County. And
the others, you have two other locations, I believe.
We have a location in Calhoun and a little small location in Fairmount, Georgia.
And, you know, people have asked me, a lot of people ask me, what would make someone be a funeral director?
Well, I think you have to have a deep sense of trying to help other people. And it's that if you don't have that, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a hard question to explain really. But you have, at the end of the day, you feel like hopefully you've helped someone. And I think it's that need to feel like you want to help other people. And that's because there's a lot of people work in funeral service, but there's not a lot of funeral people left in funeral service, but it's a lifelong commitment, and it's my life.
And was there a certain reason in your life that you decided to do that?
Well, at a very young age, my father passed away when I was 7 years old, and after that I lived with my grandparents, who were actually very elderly, and going and visiting the funeral home was nothing that I was ever afraid of, and I saw at an early age I wanted to be a funeral director, and I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life, and I never changed. I always strived to be in funeral service, and that's how that happened.
And you just loved it, and you've always done it, right?
That's correct. At the time I wanted to get in funeral service, I was in high school. Most funeral establishments at that time were still family-owned, and it was hard to get a job unless you were related to somebody at the funeral home. So I actually had to wait till someone retired, and when Roy Lee Hughes retired, who worked at Kennemer Brothers Funeral Home for 50 years, that's when I got an apprenticeship job there. And when Roy retired, I hired on there, and I stayed there for 10 years before I started my own funeral home.
And before you built this funeral home, you started on Hamilton Street, is that right? That's where you first started. That's
correct. I renovated an old grocery store on North Hamilton Street that actually the city had actually condemned the building. They were going to have to renovate it or tear it down. So me and some good friends and my close family, we actually did all the work ourselves. We renovated that building, and we stayed there for 6 years until we was able to come over here on the bypass and build a new facility. And we've been here since 1998 in this building.
And you know, back then, and I remember there were only like a couple of funeral homes, and it was family, that's the family tradition. Whatever a family had, they used that funeral home. So you just came in and kind of broke that mold, didn't you?
I did. The number one reason someone calls a funeral home is because that funeral home has serviced that family before. Of course, now the dynamics of society have changed. People want convenience. They choose funeral homes because of location, right, accessibility, and yeah, that's true. We changed that, and like I said, it doesn't seem like it's been that many years ago, but time goes by very quickly.
It's been a long time.
But and we've now, serving families over and over again. So it's been an experience.
And you have a beautiful location here now, and I know that you have a lot of services that you provide that maybe some of the other funeral homes don't have. So maybe we could talk about some of those.
We do. We try to individualize each service for each family that calls us, try to make that service unique to that family or that person. And that's what families are requiring now. I can remember when I first went to work at the funeral home, you had one register book to choose from. Now we got 25 different register books to choose from because people always want something that's more unique and personal to them. We've just not long ago we had a John Deere tractor. We put the person, pulled them to the cemetery with a John Deere tractor, and that was something that was very unique to that person, and they'll never forget that.
So you just try to customize per family, whatever their preference is, that you try to customize that for them if you can.
If at all possible, we can, because you only get one time to do a funeral, right?
Right.
And the more personal you can make that service, I think it helps that family to actually memorialize their life instead of glorifying their death. Because, and if you can find out those unique things that make that person stand out, and you can talk about those, or you can do it, that makes it more unique to them.
Right. And you have your own flower shops.
We have our in-house florist.
I mean, there's two, right?
Yeah, we own Dalton Florist and Foster's Flowers, and that we have when people come to visitation, they have a display area there. They can select flowers, and it helps them to do that. Do it all in one location.
And so you're able to. You only have the florist in Calhoun or just Dalton?
No, just Dalton here
just
in
Dalton.
Dalton. But our florist services all of our facilities. And of course, we service all the other funeral homes too. If anybody wants flowers, go to another funeral home. We service those too.
Right. They just call Dalton Florist or Foster's Florist.
Foster's Flowers and Dalton Florist.
Foster's Flowers.
And they don't just do funeral flowers and sympathy flowers. They do all flowers: wedding flowers, proms, any occasion. We just had Mother's Day. It's a very big day for flowers.
Okay, I guess I wasn't thinking about Valentine's and Mother's Day for Dalton. You think about funerals for your florist, but you do it all.
That's true. They do. It's a full-service florist. The ladies there do a very good job.
Right. And I know you have some pretty unique hearses as well.
We do. We have, of course, a motorcycle hearse. A lot of people love our motorcycle hearse. We have a horse-drawn hearse. I actually have the horses out at my house.
You do?
We do. Yeah, there are two Percheron horses. They're actually sisters, Lacey and Tracy, and they're for our horse-drawn carriage. And people like that occasionally.
Yeah. And what about and they have a motorcycle? They like that really well, don't they?
They really do, because we have a lot of motorcycle groups in our area, and what we call the weekend motorcyclist, and a lot of people like that, and it's a little more easier to use than the horse-drawn hearse.
Do you drive it?
No, I don't. But we have people on staff that drive the hearse.
And the horse, do you do the carriage?
I do
that?
I do the horse. The
you
horses.
Personally do drive the horse-drawn carriage?
I do, yes. But our motorcycle hearse, we've actually used it for other funeral homes in our area also.
Okay. And also you have mausoleum too. Let's talk about that.
In 1997, I started my own cemetery. It's called Colonial Hills Memorial Park. And that was in the north part of the county, up off of Rauschenberg Road. And then in 2006, we purchased Whitfield Memorial Gardens and Murray Memorial Gardens. And we have a mausoleum at all of those cemeteries. We have individual mausoleums, and we also have a community mausoleum too. And those are very nice. And people are actually, I think, in the future will choose mausoleum interment more so, because people don't realize how inexpensive mausoleum can actually be.
And then there's cremation.
Cremation, that's correct. We're the only funeral home in Whitfield County that owns their own crematory. Several years ago, most of the people in our area remember the tri-state disaster that happened over in Walker County. When that happened, we decided we was going to do two things. We was going to stop offering cremation to our families, or we was going to buy our own crematory, and that was the choice we made. We put our own retort in, and once your loved one comes into our care, You're not taken out of the county. You're not taken out of state. You stay right here in our care. And also, we don't take any cremations from any other funeral homes. We only do our own. To some people, that's very important because it protects the integrity of their loved one. So once they come here, they're not taken anywhere else. And like I said, we're very proud of that fact. And the way our crematory is constructed out back, we actually have a private viewing room if the families want to come and actually be there when the cremation takes place. We don't have a lot of them that do that, but they all like the fact that they have that option that they can be here because they all want to know that that is their loved one. And when those cremains are returned to them, they know that those are their loved one.
And you know, people think, I think we talked about it a little bit, that people think cremation is affected by their budget, or if that's, you know, the only way they can afford it.
Some people do think cremation is less expensive. And you take the country of Japan, where they have 99% cremation rate, but they have the most expensive funerals in the world. Average ceremony with cremation in Japan is around $45,000.
Wow.
So it's really, the expense is not in actually the cremation process itself. It's what kind of ceremony or service you do either prior or after the cremation. I tell people cremation is a way to dispose of the body, just like earth burial is a way to dispose of the body. People think cremation is something new. Cremation has been around for thousands and thousands of years. So it's nothing new, but it's you know, it can be as inexpensive or as expensive as you want it to be.
You know, and one more thing before we close, I'd like for you were telling me that you never discuss whether the family can afford it. So just tell me a little bit of what you were saying about that.
Well, I've never turned anyone away because no matter what their financial situation was. I've never taken a call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and asked somebody how they could pay me.
Right.
And so we try to work within everybody's budget. We tell people to be honest and forthcoming about their situation, and we will always try some way to help them.
Okay. Well, Stoney, it was so good talking to you today, and I want everyone to come and have a look if they want, if they're curious about pricing or anything like
Yes.
that. And until next time, I'm Rose Hardy with Stoney Ponders at Ponders Funeral Home.